Hey guys, what's up? It's Langley with Langley's Yoga Life, and today I am here to guide you through a practice that is going to be based around bridge pose and wheel pose. Both of those poses being very back bendy, so get ready to bend your back a little bit. I really hope you enjoy this video. If you do, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe and hit the little bell for notifications whenever I post. You can also leave a comment down below with any suggestions, any kind of requests that you have on a certain type of practice. I would love to take any requests from you. So yeah, today we are going to start standing. Go ahead, find yourself there, and I'll meet you at your mat. Alright, so like I mentioned, we are starting standing today. Go ahead and find yourself there. You can have your hands down by your side. Close your eyes if you like, and just find yourself in your own nice and tall Tadasana or mountain pose. Observe where you are in this moment. Check in with your body. We're going to be doing some back bending stuff today, so check in with your back and your shoulders. Notice how it's doing right now. Notice how it feels. Maybe typically those areas where you would work in a back bend might typically be really tight for you. And so come into this practice with just an open mind. No judgment. It's all love here, right? Be happy with wherever you are, wherever you end up in this class. And from here, we're just going to go ahead and move with the shoulders. So you can open the eyes if you like, and we're just going to roll the shoulders back and down, just start to warm them up. In a back bend, especially if you start to work into a wheel pose, the shoulders are such an important part of that. So you want to make sure that they're nice and warm. You can switch direction of your circle now. Taking a few moments here. And let's go ahead and bring it into center. Now we're going to send this right arm up high to the sky, bend at the elbows, and then the left hand is going to come to this right elbow here. And just a very slight tug. So a lot of times we want to crank that arm down as much as we can possibly get it. Okay, we're going to try to stay away from that. Just mostly finding that stretch. Notice if your chin is starting to go down to your chest and really starting to not feel so great in the neck. So you can just bring the gaze up, no worries. And then let's go ahead and switch. So now bending at the left elbow, right hand to that elbow here. Trying to keep it nice and open. Observe where you are. Go ahead and let's release it down. Shake out the arms a little bit. Do a few little movements. And from here, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to move with the arms even more. And just work on the shoulders here and also move with our breath. So on an inhale, let's go ahead and you can keep the arms parallel to the shoulders. Right in line with the shoulder, okay? You don't have to bring your palms together or anything like that. But we're just going to go ahead and reach the arms up overhead. And let's exhale them down. And if you have a block, this is a great time to just place the block between your hands. You can do that as well. Let's inhale, bring it up. And exhale, bring it down. When you inhale, think about lifting through the chest. Arms aren't going into the ears. Exhale. Let's do that 3 more times. So inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, drawing the belly to the spine. And exhale the hands down. And last time we're going to inhale here. And maybe we send the heels up off of the mat, come onto the balls of the feet. And then let's lower it down. Good, go ahead and shake it out. And now we're going to move on. I'm going to face this way real quick. And another very important part of either a bridge pose or a wheel pose and a lot of other different back bends is activation through the legs. So we're going to work out the legs just a little bit, finding ourselves in a nice chair pose or Utkatasana. So go ahead from here. We're going to start to just bend the knees, sink the hips back, and reach the arms up. So in your chair pose, you want to think about really drawing the knees in towards each other, hugging it in, and really activating. Draw the belly in as well. Listen to your breath. And this is another time check-in with the arms and make sure they're not going in, shoulders to the ears or to the neck. Keep it nice and long. And then let's go ahead and lift, shake it out, and we're not done with that. Now we're going to do like little chair pose squats. That's what I'll call it. So go ahead from here, sink the hips down, reach the arms up. Hold it here. And then let's inhale, reach up, and maybe find a little mini back bend. And then let's exhale, send it down. And inhale. Lift and exhale down. Inhale. Exhale. Let's go for 3 more. Go with your breath. Let your breath be the rhythm. Last one. And then let's hang out here. And we're just going to pulse here for a little bit. So sinking the hips just slightly. Really activating through the legs. Feel that fire. You got this. If your arms get really, really tired, then you can challenge yourself and keep them there. Or if you want to bring them down to heart center, that's fine too. Really feeling this in the legs. And let's lift another mini back bend. Woo. And back to standing. Cool. Shake it out. And now we're going to come into just a quick and little simple wrist stretch. So from here, let's bring both of the hands down. So palms are facing you. Tops of the hands are in front. Now from here, with the left hand, let's just bring this left thumb to the palm of the right hand and gently stretch. Stretch it out. And then we're going to switch, bring the palm face up, and that left hand comes to the fingers and just slightly pulls back. And now let's switch. Hands go down, right thumb to the left palm. Bring it forward. You're just pressing that thumb into the palm. And let's switch. Palm goes face up. And the right hand just starts to pull those fingers back just slightly. All right, let's shake it out. And let's go ahead and start to move. So let's inhale, bring the arms up high. Find that little mini back bend like we did before, so shifting the hips forward, bringing the heart center up, maybe lifting the gaze. And then let's lower all the way down to a forward fold. As low down as the body wants you to go. And then let's just plant the palms. And then once the palms are down at the mat, let's step the feet back into a plank position. Now for this first plank, we're going to have the knees down at the mat. Shoulders tracking right over those wrists. And let's go ahead and take a moment. We're just going to start to bend at the elbows, hugging them into the side body, and we're going to lower down. Knees, chest, and chin. Good. From here, let's go ahead and slowly bring it back up. And send it back to a child's pose for a moment. Let the arms extend and the head rest down. And then once again, let's lift back up, keeping the knees at the mat. Go ahead, start to shift forward and slowly lower. And back into child's pose. And then one more time, let's go ahead and lift back up and lower and lift. Good, so from here, let's go ahead and step it back into plank once again. If you want to stay with the knees down, go for it. Whatever you prefer, whatever you like. And from here, let's lower down all the way to the belly. And then we're going to inhale, lift the chest, baby cobra. Let's hang out here for 3 breaths. So activating through the legs. Elbows are coming inward, so they're not coming out, but bringing them in. There's a lot of space from the shoulders and the ears. And then let's go ahead and keep the knees down, child's pose. And again, let's lift, plank. Lower it down slowly to the belly. Inhale, baby cobra. The heart is radiating forward here. Slight back bend. And child's pose. And one more time. We got this. Plank. Start to lower. And inhale, baby cobra. So really spreading through the fingers here. And child's pose. Good. Earlier, we really felt the legs in up chair pose, and now we're really feeling the arms here. If you like, you can bring the palms together and start to bend at the elbows for a reverse prayer variation. Just starting to stretch it out. Now the hands can come back forward. And now we're going to go one more step up. So if you want to stay with the baby cobra, you can. No worries. But this time, instead, we are going to make our way into an upward facing dog, which is just a little bit more of a back bend, and you will feel that from this vinyasa. So go ahead, step it back, plank. And from here, you can lower all the way down to the belly or chaturanga, little yoga push-up. And then we're going to curl over the toes, extend the arms here, gazing upwards, upward facing dog. Taking a few breaths, check in. Once again, I'm really pressing away from the mat. I'm not dumping all of my weight into my wrists. Lots of space between the shoulders and the ears. And then let's curl through the toes. You can go to child's pose or down dog. Whatever feels best for you. And let's shift forward, back into plank, lower down, and lift upward facing. Take a few breaths. Heart heart shining forward here. And down dog. We're just going to do that one more time. Take a few breaths here though. And plank. To our vinyasa, lower down. And inhale, lift. Just 3 breaths here, we got this. Press away from the earth. And let's bring the knees down. Child's pose. This time maybe you just bring the hands down by your side to really let them rest. Take just a few moments. Maybe rock this head a little side to side. Move around the wrists. Now from here, let's bring it up into a tabletop position. We're going to move the feet over to one side and then come down to a seat. So then once you've come to your seat, we're going to make our way on our backs. Finding yourself there. I always, anytime I make my way onto my back in my practice, I always just have to give myself a hug. So you can bring the knees in if you like. Give yourself a nice little good job. Rock side to side if that feels good. And then we're going to go ahead and start to get into a bridge pose. So let's plant the feet down. And you want to keep them as close to you as possible. So observe that. And they can be either right in line with the hips or just a little bit past hip distance apart. And then from here, what we're going to do, having the hands down by our sides, let's take a moment just to check in where we are here. Check in with your knees. Notice if they're already kind of going over to one side. You want to keep the knees right in line with the ankles. And let's go ahead and start to find this movement into a bridge pose. So first, you want to think about tucking the tailbone under. So go ahead and tuck. And from there, once it's tucked, the hips are going to immediately want to start to come up off of the mat. So notice that. If you want to do that a few times to find that difference, you can. Pelvis reaches up high to the sky. And then once you're there, we're going to check in first with the legs. So notice if, once again, the knees are going over to one side. You want to keep the knees right in line. So drawing near each other, spiraling the inner thighs towards each other. And really start to find that upward current here. And this is when we can start to focus on the shoulders. So if you like, you can start to draw the shoulder blades in towards one another to help you find that lift even more. Once you're in this bridge pose, maybe you grab a hold onto the ankles or even clasp the hands underneath the back. Just notice where you are and check in. So you want to make sure that the neck stays nice and long. So notice that my chin isn't going in towards my chest. So I'm not gazing down at my chest. I'm gazing up at the ceiling. So make sure you're doing that. Grounding through those feet in the mat. And let's take a little break. So we're going to release the hands, bring the shoulders back underneath, and go ahead and lower the hips down. Take a few movements here just to release, and we're going to get into another bridge pose, and then we'll start to work in towards a wheel pose if you want to. Totally optional. So let's go ahead ahead and do that now. So planting the feet. Once again, thinking about bringing them as close to you as possible. Right in line with the hips or a little bit past hip distance apart. Wherever you want to be here. Whatever feels best. Go ahead, tucking the tailbone. Pelvis reaches forward and send it up off of the mat. Walk the shoulder blades in a little bit more. Activating the core. So still drawing the belly in. Checking in with your knees. Neck is nice and long. And gaze is up high. We're going to take a few breaths here. And a slower. All right, so how did your back feel doing that? Did you feel any parts of the body that did not feel great? Know that it's definitely a posture. I mean, really any posture is, but that's a challenging posture. So if you feel like you just don't want to stay in bridge pose, that's okay, no worries, okay? You don't want to have a feeling of like a pinch in your back or tension or stiffness, you know. In yoga, we try to work on that, of course, but if it's truly uncomfortable, if you feel any pain, I don't think you should push yourself, you know. A lot of people say no pain, no gain, but I don't believe that in yoga, okay? I don't want anyone to feel any pain. So from here, of course, know where you were in that bridge pose. Notice if you want to go up just a little bit higher. And then we can do that if you want to try it out. So let's go ahead. Shake out the legs a little bit if you need to. We're going to plant the feet back into the mat, right where we kept them before. And let's go ahead and first start with bridge pose again, all of us. No matter where you're going, we're going to start in bridge. So go ahead, start to send the hips up off of the mat. Find wherever you are. If you want to make your way into wheel pose, make sure that the knees are still right over the ankles, okay? Making sure that that alignment is, you know, as perfect as it can be before we go up any higher to avoid any kind of injury. So let's go ahead to make your way into wheel pose. We're going to bring the hands right above the shoulders with the fingers facing the shoulders here. Check in with your elbows. Notice if the elbows are starting to go out, you want to keep them right in line with the wrists. And then when you are ready, we're going to go ahead and lift off. So really activating the arms here. You can go ahead and make your way all the way up. Check in, maybe your elbows are really, really bent. And if you have the top of the head on the mat, just make sure the head is not going too forward or too back, okay? You want it to be the very top part of the head. And from here, find a nice openness in the chest. You're pressing away from the mat here, away from the earth. Checking in with the body, with your core, with your arms, with your legs. If you want to start to walk the hands a little bit closer, if you feel like that's something that you're ready for, go for it. Just be careful, be mindful. And I like to lower back down into a bridge pose. Some people like to make their way onto the top of the head, but I just don't like to put any pressure on my neck at all. So to lower down into bridge pose, what you're going to do is go ahead and start to bend at the elbows. Hook the knees in, and we're going to start to gaze up as we do that. And just very carefully planting the shoulders back down with the mat. Lower the hips, bring the knees in, give yourself a big hug. Woo! You did it. We got this. Rock a little side to side. If that feels good, give yourself some love. And then from here, my favorite thing to do after a back bending session is to do a forward fold, so doing the total opposite of what you just did. So go ahead, let's cross the feet. We're gonna bring ourselves up to seated. Once you're there, extend the legs forward, hands down, big inhale in, and exhale, walk the hands forward, lowering down, stretching it out. Taking a few moments here, you'll feel that release in the back when you do this fold. And then let's go ahead and start to lift back up. And now we're going to make our way back onto our backs. So go ahead and lower back down. And then from here, we're going to reach the legs up high to the sky. Take a few breaths. You can start to point the feet and flex the feet. Just notice where you feel that in the legs. And take this moment just to look at where you were today in today's practice on your back bending journey. Maybe this is just the start to your back bending journey. You've never really done many, and that's okay. If it's your first day working on warming up the back, then hello. It's a really fun thing to do. It's a really challenging thing to start to do with your body. But eventually, in the long run, I think it's personally so worth it. You know, they say in the yoga world, one of those yoga quotes is, you bend so you don't break. And I always like to think about that. I think back bending is one of my favorite things in my practice. So I really hope that you enjoyed it as well. Let's go ahead and bring the knees down in towards the chest. You're going to extend the legs out long. Let's inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Big breath in, biggest inhale today. Acknowledging where you were. And on your exhale, go ahead and just reach the hands down by your side and fully release. Exhale out. And again, I say be proud of where you were today. Maybe you realize that, backbending might not be your thing for right now. That's okay. We can, pause that and save it for another day, That's no worry at all. It's your practice. It's your body. Every body is different. So don't be mad at yourself if you felt like you couldn't do a back bend today. No worries. Sometimes it can take years and years to finally even feel comfortable in a bridge pose or feel comfortable in a wheel pose. Everyone's journey is different. So just be grateful for where you are today. Some people may not even be where you are today. So be grateful for your body and what it has accomplished today and what it will accomplish in the future as well. If they haven't already, you can go ahead and allow your eyes to close. Staying in this posture for however long as you need. yourself love and light and happiness. Hands can come to forehead center. I'm so grateful for you all for trusting me and leading you in this practice today. Keep at it if you didn't feel like you were quite there today. Keep at it if you thought you did. Great. Keep at it. It's a practice. And that's the great thing about yoga. I hope you all have a great day and enjoy your yoga journey, your yoga life. Namaste.